Hey, so I want to go over this week with you for Christian living, and don't want to take very long, but I think it's really important that we go over some of this stuff. And in the last week or so, not everybody has watched the introduction video, and maybe you thought it was too long or something. So I tried to make it shorter, but I've also noticed that if you haven't watched the video in the introduction, you don't always understand where we're going with things. So I want to go over just real quick where we're going this week. It's a transitional week in a sense, or it's a building week in another sense. It's a transition in that we're going to transition out of spiritual gifts into the church. But yet it's a building week because your spiritual gifts are basically the way you live your life out in your church, and kind of your purpose in your church and stuff. And so early this week, we're going to work on you turning in your spiritual gifts so that Mr. Duncan and I can grade them. But we're also working on informing your small group of what your gifts are, and then processing your gifts as a small group. So kind of identifying what your small group's gifts are, and then talking about all that. Wednesday, we're going to have a all sophomore class Bible discussion on spiritual gifts on Zoom. Really want you all there so that we can answer questions and stuff like that. So as you're wrapping this up, looking at your spiritual gifts, I really want to give you the chance to dialogue and talk about it and hear other people talk about it and so on. And so that's happening Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is most of the week. There's a video later today where you need to listen through the instructions so you know how to do this and how to do it right. I've also reformatted the PDF version of the result sheets. So when you start to type in your results, it doesn't duplicate it everywhere. As usual, always save everything as you go along. And then as we go later this week, then we're going to be moving into talking about your church. I'll talk about this more as we go, but the Bible never speaks of a Christian outside the context of the local church. It talks about a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, a personal decision we all each have to make, our own personal responsibilities in the church. And even as we looked at spiritual gifts, um, by and large, the gifts are designed for us to use as part of the church. And so we're going to be transitioning into that, and I've got later in the week as we do. I'll do just another quick, hopefully brief video to set that up, and then next week we'll actually get into the lecture and content. But for that, you're going to need your church's statement of faith that I've asked you to be working on for a couple of weeks, as well as your church name, website, lead pastor, and youth group leader. And so want to encourage you to be moving into that. And Thursday, I'm going to actually collect those from you. Thursday is also going to be Nicene Creed Day, and we'll talk about this section of Nicene Creed. So I want to share with you real quick, excuse me, some online stuff for you. So with this, I want to make sure that you walk through the week. And so just real quick, that you'll see that the video that I'm creating right now will go here, kind of explaining the week as I've discussed. Then there's the updated PDF for you to fill in for the rest of the week. And then right below it are the instructions on how to fill that out that you'll need to look at. And then right here, at the very end of Monday, then you turn in your spiritual gift results. Tuesday is really a work day. It's designed on finishing up what I've asked you to do with spiritual gifts on Monday. Begin to find your church statement of faith stuff. So look through that statement of faith assignment. But down here at the bottom of Tuesday, I want you to get into this forum, start a new post or new forum discussion, and post your spiritual gifts. You've already turned them in on Monday, but just post these for your small groups. And then after you watch the video on Monday, then you'll see, okay, this is the reason for that. Wednesday, then, the results of that forum on Tuesday, I'd like to have you turn in on Wednesday, but also I'd like to have a discussion with the whole class about small groups and just to hear what your feedback is and your questions are. And I've got this gift, and what does that mean if I'm a prophet? Am I really a prophet? Or what if I have celibacy or tongues or whatever? I want to just talk that through and kind of explain how all that works. Thursday is our transition day. Then we're going to put gifts kind of on the back burner and work through the Nicene Creed. I'll post the video and the assignment there on Thursday, and then begin to work on our church's statement of faith. And you'll see right down there at the bottom then is a place that you're going to turn in your church's statement of faith. You're going to type into your forum entry your church's name and website and your lead pastor or priest, your youth pastor, but then you're going to upload your church's statement of faith. So you got to be looking for that. In one of the, I'll do an intro video, which will be hopefully quick but informative on how to find that possibly in your church's stuff. And then Friday is really designed for I just lost it, for electives. And so they've asked us not to post anything on Friday. You can still do my work on Friday. In fact, you can do my work through Saturday as long as you turn everything in by 3. However, please make sure that you do the work in the order that is there on the schedule. It's intended to go in that order so that it makes sense. Now, there are a number of things that go on in the week where other people are waiting for you to post so that they can post and they can finish their assignments. So if you're waiting until Saturday to get it all done, you're really slowing other people down and causing them some problems. But I do also want to give flexibility for the fact that you may have limited computers in your house, limited time online, limited table space. That's our issue in our house. And so I want to give you some flexibility on that. Also, just on the grading system side of things, Mr. Duncan and I are getting things in. I think that at least I'm done with that very first week and fixing problems with it. I think I'm done with those. There's a couple of you that were late starters, and I want to make sure I get you caught up. And then we're going to, now that everything is up on Moodle for this week, then we're going to get into going through and grading stuff. So a little lag on that. I want you to know that, expect it. I'd rather collect it in class, put it in right away. I can't do that anymore. And so grading is that part that I'm still catching up with. So one last thing, just kind of on a personal note, I think Mr. Duncan would echo this, that we spend a lot of our time up front, particularly me with you guys in Christian Living, getting the classes set up for the next week. Now I need to go back and work on grading for last week. I've tried to, I don't know if I've got everybody, I haven't gone back and checked, but I tried to get everybody who started the class late that first week. There's only a handful of you. Try to dialogue with you, and hopefully I got your grades put in, but I'll be working on that, and send me a nice reminder if you want, and then we'll get into last week's work. There's some confusion with a couple of assignment turn-ins. I think I answered your questions, but we'll see kind of as it comes in. If I put a 0 in your box, that basically means I got the material, but I couldn't read it. Maybe you turned it in a pages format, or the PDF was empty, and that's just real quick that I did get it, but I need you to resubmit it somehow in the style, email me about it. That's our week. Have a good week. We love you, bless you. Looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday in that forum. So we'll see you later.